Hey peeps, what's going on? It's Josh. Go on, Petey. Come on, move. I'm trying to talk. I wanted to make a video real quick. Oh, of course, you're not gonna like the lighting. There we go. I want to make a video real quick because of two things recently, and I keep backing up topics and not making videos about them. The first one is about yard dogs. Now, yesterday when I was on a yard dog approached me and basically started chewing me out and yelling at me because I hadn't backed into a spot close enough to the trailer next to me, and there was room for another trailer, but I actually wasn't done backing, and he came over and yelled at me before I was even done backing.
You were literally still
And the
backing
thing, hold on. And the thing that strikes me, and I want to get this out before we rant, is number one, that yard dog, yeah, he was a butthead to me, but it makes me think that he has to deal with a lot of truckers on the daily that are being jerks to him. And because you don't normally have an attitude like that if there's not a good reason, if you haven't had some bad experiences. What were you going to say?
Well, that he literally pulled in front of you when you were still trying to, like, do shit.
Yeah. I wasn't done yet, and he was like ready to tear my head off. And I was just like, in my head, I was like frustrated, and then I stopped and took a second, and I was like, you must deal with a lot of assholes. I didn't say this to him, he was already gone. But I did say to him, well, I'm not done backing, you pulled in front of me, so if you move, I'll gladly move over. And yeah. And then I was just in this receiver's office, and I experienced a trucker. And this trucker, big burly dude, big old beard, and he was intimidating a lumper clerk. And she was just like trying to be patient with him, and he was like, yeah, he was like, she was obviously new and in training, and instead of being a gentleman and being kind, he was an ass. And he was like, I got you flustered now, don't I? And she was like, not really, I've been like this for a couple of days now. And she wasn't, I wouldn't have said that personally. I would have been like, you ain't bothering me. Because that's what he wanted, was to fluster her. And he didn't do that to the dude that was working with her, he did it to her. And maybe it's because I'm a trans dude, and so I'm sensitive to certain things. And maybe it's just because I'm not an asshole. I don't know, really. But to me, I looked at that trucker like, you have no class. To go into an office and intimidate anyone, let alone you're a male and you're intimidating a female, you're showing your ass right now. And your mama wouldn't be proud of how you're acting.
Literally every time you go in there, I feel like a lot of times, you tell me there was a trucker in there being rude to the office people.
So,
like every time.
Yes.
It's constant.
So this leads me to my next point and my last point, because we're getting ready to need to bump a talk. I'm just waiting for the trucker who's in my door to move. But again, I'm not going to go over and be an asshole. I'm going to wait patiently, because me rushing him is not going to make him move any faster. And
It'll probably piss him off.
Heaven forbid I rush him and then he hits something, and now I feel bad. But any office drivers, okay, I'm talking specifically to you drivers, any office that you go into is our customer. Whether it's a shipper or a receiver. Now, on my prime paperwork, customer name means the 90, or where you're delivering. But that is not your only customer. Where you're picking up, that's a customer.
He's going to his truck right now.
Where you're dropping off, that's a customer. Who you interact with, that's a customer. And you know why? Like, even if you're at a truck stop and you're interacting with a clerk there, that's a customer in a sense, even though they're waiting on you. And the reason I say this is because our name, Jim Palmer, is on that door, and Will Trans is right up there. And you are an example of our company at all times. Which is why, when I was in training, Leah was like, you better have pants and shoes on. And not look a mess and make us look stupid. You better not be walking around in some Crocs.
Didn't she yell at you one time because you were in basketball shorts, or someone was wearing something and she was like, you better not show up like that, or something?
Somebody was wearing jammy pants, and they went into a truck stop, and she was like, you better never. And I was like, well, I wouldn't, because, you know, to me, jammy pants is a personal thing. You don't need to see what I wear to bed. But it's everyone that we interact with, their customers. And I would even go as far to say that other drivers that I interact with, I try to keep in mind that I'm representing my company. It's not just my truck. This is Jim Palmer. This is Wilson Logistics truck. And I am fortunate enough to be able to drive it. And I'm not always super grateful, but I try to remember this when I interact with people. And damn sure when I'm at a shipper or a receiver.
You're also representing Prime.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Prime too. I absolutely remember when I'm at a shipper or receiver that if they don't ship with us, lost service. Okay. And I understand that, oh, you might say, well, that was just a lumper. I don't want to have to unload this trailer. So let's not piss off the lumpers. Nope. I would rather be in this cab sleeping or what have you. I don't want to be
eating dinner.
Yeah, don't put me down for unloading a trailer. So those are my thoughts. And Ellie said something to me the other day when I got to talk to her on the phone, and she said, this job gets a lot simpler when you have a little bit more patience. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. And I would even go as far to say, the nicer that we can be to each other and to others, the better we look as a profession and the better treatment we receive as a profession. I personally have been treated like shit because I'm a trucker. And instead of paying that forward and being shitty to the next person, I think, wow, the person who's being shitty to me must have a bad viewpoint of my profession. If there's anything I can do to try and change that, I will. I'm not a doormat, but I'm a professional. And I try to, as much as possible, be a calm and assertive leader in my industry. Even though I'm still a rookie, I still have common decency, and I still believe that there's a certain way to conduct business. So,
I think when you were new out here and you were negative about things sometimes, because you had a period where it was hard.
Mm-hmm.
I think that probably made things harder for you,
Yeah.
Because you weren't patient. You would get impatient when things a lot.
I would get frustrated. Yeah.
You would get frustrated.
I was still polite to others, though.
No,
to people.
I don't mean that. I'm just saying,
but the more negative,
harder.
Yes. Yeah, and I'm not just trying to cover my ass by saying that. I was still kind to other.
Yeah, you were.
I was still appropriate and polite and stuff, but I would get frustrated, and that negativity. Negativity begets negativity. That's just a thing. Law of attraction type deal. So, yeah. I don't want to make this a super long video, but I thought it was important to talk about. And the fact that how you treat others makes a huge difference with your company, with the industry. I mean, we're all, honestly, if you think about it, truckers, we're all a big fucking family. This is a community, and the better you can treat others, the better you will be treated. That's a fact. But it takes more than a few of us to change the viewpoint of a community. So hopefully, maybe some of you will see this and possibly think of it next time you're in a shipper's office. But absolutely, gents, be gents. Don't go in and try and intimidate a young lady that's just trying to do her job. Because it was hard not to say something. And I kept my mouth shut because it's not my business to tell another grown-ass man how to act. But I shouldn't have to tell you to be a gentleman. Shouldn't have to. So, and if you're in the Save-A-Lot in St. John's, Michigan, you know exactly who I'm talking about, sir. You need a lesson in manners. I'm not going to give it to you because it's not my business. You're grown. You should know. Step up your game, gents. Act like grown folk out here, please. Please. Anything else to add?
Well, I don't know if you want to add it or not. It's okay if you don't. But I was going to say if you wanted to ask if anyone had anything to ask about.
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah. We're getting ready to do a video. And it's basically...
I don't say go into it, just say about trans stuff.
Yeah, no, I wasn't going into it, but I was like, how to prompt that. I'm trans. If you have questions about trans people, particularly trans guys,
The
trans experience, how you can better relate to a trans person, things that you might
nosy questions,
anything like that, and you want to ask them, this is a good place, and we will endeavor to answer them as completely and as appropriately as possible. So, anything else? All right, much love. Peep out. And of course, it's not going to stop, so I'm just going to awkwardly reach in front of you. Let's do that. Nope. Let's do that. Nope.